welcome, and have your coffee ready. We've got great stuff here. I am Heidi Betzine, President and CEO of the Lomita Chamber of Commerce, and we're here to talk about a bunch of phenomenal services that are available to you as business owners here in the wonderful city of Lomita. We're going to talk about some of the assistance programs for forgivable loans for job creation, as well as facade improvement for your businesses. And of course, we are joined by the South Bay Workforce Investment Board that has a ton of services that will help you and your business with hiring, support, educational support, just a myriad of things that you guys are going to really be excited to hear about. So without further ado, thank you again. From the City of Lomita, I'd like to welcome Greg Kapovich and Laura McMorrin. I know we have others here from the city as well to answer your questions. They're going to talk to us in just a minute about the forgivable loans that the city is putting forward. And from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, we have Chris Cagle and his team here in full force. So with that, welcome to you all. And again, our attendees, please put your questions in the chat. We'll get to that at the end. And I'm going to kick it off to Greg and Laura, and I'll go ahead and share the screen with the presentation from our city today. Go ahead and unmute yourselves and take it away.
Thank you, Heidi. And yes, thank you everybody else. Thanks for being here today. My name is Greg Kapovich. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director for the City of Lomita. I also have Laura McMorrin. She is our Associate Planner and really kind of my project manager for this forgivable loan program. But real quick, we're going to do a quick overview of the program itself. We'll go into the details, give you some timelines and application process, and then answer any questions that you may have. So first and foremost, a little background. I think everyone may have heard of the American Rescue Plan Act, which was done by the federal government and appropriated a lot of money to the various states and the local entities to try to recover after the COVID pandemic. Now, you know, a lot of that money did trickle down to Lomita. We got about $4.8 million that we can use for a variety of reasons, but our city council thought that it was prudent to reinvest some of that money into our local business community to try to help them recover, stay solvent, and continue their onward success here in Lomita. So they've attributed almost $1 million that'll go directly to the businesses. Now we've separated the programs into two main categories. One is called the Facade Improvement Program, and that's really designed to give forgivable loans to anybody that's willing to do improvements to their buildings. And we're trying to offset, you know, the cost of doing that with grants of up to $25,000. The other one is a job creation effort to try to get some of our citizens back to work, anybody who may have lost a job during the pandemic. And we're offering up to $10,000 for any business that can hire these individuals. So if we go to the next slide, I'll let Laura, our associate planner, go into the specific details of each program.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So the two programs, as Greg mentioned, the job creation, the requirement is that one new permanent full-time job is created or two new part-time jobs are created. So the qualifier is that the employee must be from a low-income household, and that's using the metropolitan area's data to make that determination. But the job itself does not have to be a job that pays low-income wages. So if there's an opportunity and you see a fit, that doesn't preclude you from applying for this program. The employment term is for 1 full year, and the maximum award is $10,000. The second program is the Facade Improvement Program, and there are design guidelines that the city adopted for the downtown commercial district. That's going to apply citywide, except for Pacific Coast Highway, which has its own design guidelines. Please note that the state of California's prevailing wage requirements apply to all approved projects, but there are a lot of things that are exempt from that, such as permits or plans, and even materials may be exempt from prevailing wage requirements. And the application has a link on it that you can use to find out more information about that. But examples of eligible improvements are things as awnings, signs, painting, doors and windows, murals, anything that is going to improve the condition and the aesthetics of the front of the building. The term for this is 2 years, and the maximum amount of the loan is $2,500. Again, these are forgivable loans. So if the conditions are satisfied, then at the end of the term, there's no obligation to repay. Next slide, please. So there are eligible criteria, and the first and most important is that the business experienced a negative impact from the COVID pandemic. And that can be demonstrated in a number of ways. But for example, it could be that the business had to close partially or fully, that it relocated and downsized, that it reduced its workforce or its hours, or some other measure that you can demonstrate with the application. And then the City Council approved certain categories of business that they felt were the hardest hit by the pandemic. And so the Job Creation and Facade Improvement Program each have separate qualifying businesses. And it's citywide in any commercial district that these programs apply. The last is, and that's it. The location of the businesses is any of the city's commercial zones. Next slide, please. I'm gonna let Greg take over this part.
Thank you. Thanks for those details, Laura. So where are we at in this process? So we opened up our application submittal period yesterday. So it is live today. If you go to our website, www.lomitacity.com, you'll see links to each of these programs and links to the applications themselves. So we're going to have this application period open from now until April 21st. And we're doing a 6-week window because we want to try to give everyone the time necessary to figure out which program might best suit your needs, and then to work with staff to make sure that you're filling out the application and submitting the forms in the right mindset, in the right fashion. We're here for you. We understand that this can be complicated, and we want to make sure that this money gets out to you. So, feel free to contact city staff via email or phone number. We'll give you some of that contact information at the end here, or I'll type it into the comments. And I would just encourage you, even though we're leaving this open until the 21st of April, start reviewing the materials now so that you can kind of work through with staff what exactly you need to submit and by when. Second step is once we've closed the application portal, staff will take a couple weeks to just make sure that the businesses that have applied have complete applications and that they've qualified. They're one of the businesses that do qualify for that grant. And what we'll do is we'll actually hold a lottery at that end of April mark, where anybody that qualified to apply will pull your name out of a hat and you'll get a number. So if 50 people apply, we'll pull all 50 and you'll be numbered 1 through 50. And the first 20 or 30 will be allowed to go ahead and get in front of City Council to get that approval going. So it is something that City Council ultimately needs to approve on an individual basis. So we're hoping to do that in May. So all in all, hopefully mid-May we've got some winners and some money going out. That actually does conclude our presentation for today. I'll let the presentation go forward to the South Bay WIB, but again, please type any questions you may have in the chat, and we'll try to cover anything that you have at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Greg and Laura, for that information. We've got some great opportunities ahead to help our business owners and our small businesses here in Lomita. And along those lines, we are going to invite from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, Chris Cagle, who's going to talk about the myriad services that are available to you all. Just a quick reminder, I am seeing a couple of questions which we will get to in just a moment. So please put them in the chat and then we will get to them during our Q&A. So Chris, if you want to share your screen, you have the floor.
Okay, are we good? Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Heidi, for hosting us. The Lomita Chamber has been a great partner with the Workforce Board for a very long time, and I also want to thank the City of Lomita for also partnering with us to provide these enhanced business services. And today I'm joined with my team, Laura Bischoff, who's contracts manager, Robert Chavez, our operations manager, Donald Perry, who's our lead job developer, and Lupe Gasca, who's our Torrance one-stop manager. And I am, again, Chris Cagle, and I'm the regional affairs manager for the Workforce Board. So I got too many slides here. Here we go. A Workforce Board is sort of a quasi-government group that represents many areas throughout the state. In California, there's 45 workforce boards, and there's workforce boards all across America. And when the President and Congress pass large job bills, the funding goes out to the different states and out to organizations like ours. And then we put that money back into the community to help and support job seekers and businesses. So we essentially help people find jobs and help businesses find workers. And so as Greg and Laura described earlier with the forgivable loans that they are providing, there's another pot of money, if you will, that's available from the Workforce Board, which actually is available to you without any application process. You don't have to qualify for it. It's just funding to help support your business and help people get jobs and ensure you have the talent you need in the local area to help your business grow and expand. And we do all of this at no cost because, as I said, we get funding from the state and federal government, and a lot of that has to do with your taxes going into this funding pool that is then made available to help provide stimulus to the local economy. So we work in a number of different areas within this region, and it includes a whole list of business services, adult services, and youth services. And it's centered around many different things, but ultimately helping businesses with recruiting and hiring, and then helping people get prepared and find employment. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Robert Chavez to go into some detail about some of the programs that we can help your business with. Robert?
Thank you, Chris. And again, we're really excited to meet with the businesses of Lomita and partnering with the City of Lomita and the Lomita Chamber of Commerce specifically. So these are some of the, and more in detail, as Chris mentioned, some of the business support and hiring and training services. So the American Job Centers under the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, and we do have an office in Torrance, and we'll give you the information there and introduce you to Lupe Gasca in a few minutes. But definitely what we do at that center and to businesses in Lomita and throughout the South Bay is we help you with recruitment. We could do job fairs either virtually or in person. We could do recruitments at our place of business or at your place of business, and can assist you with pretty much all the new hiring, job placement resources. We could publicize your positions, and we again do targeted recruitment. So if you're looking for a specific job title, we could put that out in our universe. We have rosters and rosters of individuals. We have access to source individuals for your specific position. So this would be a direct hire type possibility where we assist you in finding the individuals for your open positions. And we do that by screening, we do assessments, we do job matching, we could do referrals, we do work readiness support. So we assist individuals in getting work ready. We could do some skills testing, and we even do reference checks. So if you're looking for someone and you need them to have A through Z, you need them to have potentially a background check, you need them to have 3 to 5 years of experience specifically, you need them to have a bachelor's degree or whatever that specific skill is. We do all the screening, the assessment, we save you time, we save you energy. And then what we can do is refer you those qualified individuals based on the requirements you gave us. So again, it saves you a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort And then the part that really gets us excited, and we're really excited about this, is our workforce training options. So we have on-the-job training, and I'll go in a little deeper into that, but basically it is a training program where an individual is hired by the employer, and we do reimbursement programs specifically, and can reimburse usually the onboarding costs for the first 12 weeks, up to 16. We could do customized training. That means an individual goes into a specific skill, job skill program, and we could look at how we do a customized training with each employer. Chris will go deeper into the apprenticeship training, where we have a model that goes from pre-apprentice to apprenticeship training with the Department of Labor and the Division of Apprenticeship Standards to the state. We could do incumbent worker training, meaning individuals that are already working with you to upskill their training into another position. And again, this is not free. This is no cost. This free denotes that you're not getting a service. No cost is what we do. Any of these services here are no cost to the employer. So we're really excited. And then a lot of times we do reimbursement programs back to you to help you with the onboarding cost. Next slide, Chris.
One more thing, Robert, as Robert was explaining, and just to add to it, if you're a smaller company and you don't have an HR person or an HR manager and you're trying to do everything yourself, this is a great way to get extra help with no cost. So we can actually be your HR department. And it's very easy to get started with Robert's team. You just send over your job description, and with that, the whole process will start, and they will send you people that are qualified and save you a lot of time. And even if you're a larger company with an HR department, the workforce board can relieve some of the workload from your team and help refine your process to make it a lot smoother.
Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
So we have a couple programs. This is one of our big programs. It's called the Transitional Subsidized Employment Program. So for for-profit businesses, it's a real great program. These individuals are coming from the county, usually head of household, individuals that are receiving county assistance. So they're referred by us to the employer. It's usually, we have minimum wage entry-level employees to potentially mid-level employees. So this is, again, kind of an entry-level work program, but South Bay WIB provides a wage subsidy during the training period. So that means that for the first 5 months, complete 5 months, we pay the salary for this individual, and the expectation is to hire permanently after the first 5 months. So that savings on the first 5 months could be somewhere up to about $15,000, $16,000 in savings. So this could be a 32-hour a week to 40-hour employee for the first 5 months, completely on South Bay Workforce Investment Board. Now, the next 5 months is reimbursed at 60%, and that's a savings of about $9,600. So again, you're looking at about a savings of about $25,000 for a new employee through the Transitional Subsidized Employment Program. And again, these individuals are referred by us specifically from a county program. They're getting a county subsidy. And what happens is, again, we're hoping that the last 5 months, they're on your payroll, you hire them permanently. But again, it saves a lot of money on entry-level to mid-level employees. And the whole goal of the Transitional Subsidized Employment Program is to break the cycle of individuals receiving county to government assistance. So again, savings up to about $25,000 on this program for a new employee.
Now imagine if you were going to the bank to try to get a $20,000 or $25,000 loan to do something for your business. All that you would have to do, you'd have to show your tax returns, you'd have to apply, do the application, they'd be running your credit, and then you might not even get the loan. With this, there's no qualifying. You don't have to apply for anything. It's so easy to get this subsidy And all you have to do is just have a place of business and a need and be willing to hire the person eventually. And you can tap into this funding resource. And there's actually no limit either. If you hired 20 people, you'd be allowed to do that. So let's go to the next slide.
Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
Next slide is our on-the-job training program. As Chris mentioned, we get funding from the Department of Labor, comes to the state through the Workforce Board. So we are the administrators of the Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act for the local area. And this is another program specifically. Now this program, we still refer individuals, but it's more of a, it's a process where we refer a qualified candidate through our programs. If they're eligible for this is more for individuals mid-level potentially to even higher level up to $27 an hour. But what South Bay WIB does is we provide up to 75% of the salary reimbursement for new hires for typically 3 months of training. So again, this position could go up to $27 an hour. We reimburse you usually 12 weeks for 75% of the time. And that's looking at a savings of about little close to $10,000 for a new employee for that initial 90 days of training at your place of employment. This person hired from day one, though, they are on your payroll, but we have a reimbursement program. And this one, you work with our job developers and our one-stop manager to look for individuals in your area that maybe not necessarily meet the 100% requirement of the job, but are in the 80 to 85% area. And again, we reimburse for that 12 weeks. So like Chris mentioned, a lot of employers take advantage of this opportunity. Very minimal paperwork. We do have to look at your insurance basically, but it's a real quick process, and we have people ready to work with employers now. So again, really good program, on-the-job training program, OJT. Next slide, Chris.
Yeah.
Now with this, our business management services, we work very closely with our local businesses. We'll be working very closely with the City of Lomita and the Lomita Chamber of Commerce to provide business management services, business management training. We will be doing a survey, and we'll be contacting you to find out some of your needs specifically with regards to business management training, where we will again assess some of those needs and try to assist you with coming out with a business management training, a business plan development training. And then of course, we want to look at a business plan to assist you with finding any of that information that you need to make your business more profitable and hopefully bring more employees into your place of work. Now, again, we will business accelerator workshops with the coach, and we also do peer-to-peer executive workshops. And again, we'll do an analysis, what your needs are, we'll assist you with those, and we will definitely work with you and refer you to the appropriate agencies or services to help you with any of those processes, again, with a business training plan and a business plan development training.
Great.
Next, Chris, I guess it's rapid response with Laura.
Yes. All right. So Rapid Response is a no-cost program that's designed to get individuals back to work as quickly as possible following a layoff or a plant closure. So when a company is experiencing a layoff, generally they'll submit a notification known as a WARN notification to the state of California, the mayor of the city, and the local workforce development board. When we receive us here at the South Bay WIB, when we receive that notification, we reach out to the company and offer a rapid response orientation. So the purpose of this orientation is to provide the affected individuals with information on unemployment insurance benefits. We discuss the employment and training programs available through our America's Job Centers, a lot of the programs that we just talked about right now. And also we connect the individuals to other federal, state, and local resources. We also have Layoff Aversion, and now this is a proactive approach to keeping individuals employed. So if a company is experiencing difficulty staying afloat, Layoff Aversion funds can be used to assist the employer. Together, we develop an individualized action plan to access local capital and help the business remain in the city, prevent layoffs, and ultimately the business closure. Another way to use layoff aversion is to upskill your employees, but only specifically to avert a layoff. So for example, your company has decided to use a new system or a new machine, and your current employees don't know how to use this new system or machine. So you find yourself needing to lay off your current employees and hire individuals that know how to use this new machine or system. So in order to avert this layoff, you can reach out to us here at the South Bay WIB, and we can use these funds to provide training so that you can retain your employees. And currently, we also have a special set of funds for individuals who were laid off or dislocated as a result of COVID-19. And this grant specifically provides on-the-job training for these individuals.
Yeah, so if your business is struggling, because of the economy, even if it's not completely clear to you what you're going to do, you can let us know that, and then we can figure out if there are different layoff aversion funds available to assist you so that you can turn things around. And it can start off, the conversation can start off very simply like that. You're just having a difficult time and you're reaching out for assistance. And if you have any inclination that it may result in a layoff in the future, that's things we can work with to, and our funding and our training could come into play to help sort of lift your business out of that that place where you're in right now. So just always, if there's anything that you're worried about, you could just let us know and we'll figure out if there's some grant funding that could assist you.
Chris, if I could give a quick example
Sure.
of layoff aversion, during COVID, we did have small aerospace companies that were definitely looking at laying individuals off. Something as simple as they're going for a government contract, if there is our ability to fund equipment for that specific company, or if they're looking at laying off some folks, and if those people can be retrained with a specific job skill in mind to move them into another department so they could be more profitable and help avert layoffs. Those are the types of small things that we could do. And as something as simple as, I know in the past, Laura's team had been involved in helping individuals with English language learning, ESL courses specific to help monolingual individuals learn English, where they're able to move into another department and do more skills. Those are types of things that we could quickly do during to avert layoffs and to help a business become more profitable. So again, everything's on the table during that time, and we want to be the source of assistance in times of need.
And we can get pretty creative on this funding too, depending on the circumstances, but it just starts with a phone call and just reaching out and letting us know what the situation is. Okay, we have another program. We actually have 45 different grants that we're working on at any given time. There's quite a lot of different possibilities. And today we're highlighting, the larger ones, but there's many more that we work on as well. This is one in particular. It's funding that comes from the state of California. It's designed to assist businesses with their internal training. And this particular program is targeted towards manufacturing, healthcare, and IT. And basically it works out to be a reimbursement of training dollars in about $17 per hour. The individual has to make at least that much, but the reimbursement is $17 an hour, and it can be up to 200 hours of training that you provide the employee, which would ultimately work out to about $3,400 of reimbursement that we can provide. And the next one is apprenticeship. So this is a great tool to build your workforce pipeline and to get folks interested in your company at an early age, and help give them on-the-job training experience where they're learning and getting familiar with your company at an early age, and then by the time they're ready, they can hit the ground running as an experienced employee. A lot of the large companies think of their employee hiring very strategically, and they plan it out over many years. And many use this model, this apprenticeship type model. These are non-traditional approaches to employee training. The traditional would be construction related type roles, where you're probably most likely have heard of apprenticeship, but we're using apprenticeship in all kinds of other areas too, including things like engineering and IT roles and bioscience, lots of different things. And there happens to be a lot of funding to support this type of training as well. And the Workforce Board has lots of different partners in this area. This screen's a little small, but you can see there's lots of different occupations that we have already registered that's available. And if your company could use any of these job skills, then the Workforce Board would help match you up with a qualified person that could help your business in that area, and then we could help support it with funding. There's actually, in addition to all the other funding we've talked about in this category, there's also funding as well, reimbursement of $1,000 per apprentice if you were to hire them. And then we recently got a grant from the Irvine Foundation if you're interested in hiring women in advanced manufacturing. We can provide subsidies up over $2,000 towards their salary. And then we're partners with the local community colleges, West LA College and El Camino, for healthcare and IT sectors. And there's $1,000 per apprentice available on those programs as well. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, we also have lots of youth programs. So Robert, would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. And with internships, as Chris mentioned, it's primarily youth, but we do actually have some programs that are internship based for adults. We call them paid work experience. It's a paid work experience model. So again, these are what we called paid work experience opportunities. We work with nonprofits and private businesses where individuals could work usually about 200 hours or so. It's 200 hours of paid work experience. We work with employers specifically to assist them. And this whole program is meant to put experience and skills that they learn from the work site into our interns. And again, these could be adults to help with some projects with, again, nonprofits, government entities, or private businesses. And some of the interns have some background again, in media arts, and some in engineering, some in manufacturing, some social service backgrounds. So again, this is to really be a resume builder. We do have individuals that are taking advantage of our vocational training programs, maybe in a vocational training process. Chris mentioned our pre-apprentice to apprenticeship models. These individuals could do some paid work experience during the apprenticeship model. So again, this is another service that we give to employers. It's no cost. We pay the wage, and it's usually up to about 200 or so hours of paid work experience for the intern, and they could help again with just an assortment of different duties during that 200 hours. And again, we craft it with you. It could be full-time, that could be done quickly, or it could be part-time and definitely scheduled out by the employer. And again, at the very beginning and at the end, it's really based on what the employer needs, and they do the interview and they pick the intern.
And in the past, we've had partnerships with Facebook where we placed interns at businesses throughout the area, and they helped businesses with their social media and their websites. And so they're available to do a lot of different things that you may need. And we have one more slide.
I'll go ahead and do that, Chris. This is our one-stop business and career center locations. As I mentioned before, we have 4 American Job Centers, but the one I wanted to focus on obviously is Torrance. Our Torrance Center is on 1220 Ingracia Avenue over there in Torrance. It does cover the Lomita area. Lupe Gasca, if you could show your smile to our employers, would be great. And if you want to say a few words.
Just thanking everybody this morning, taking time from their busy schedule to join us in this webinar. We at the Torrance One Stop look forward to working with every Lomita business. Please feel free to give me a call, send me an email, or even stop by and visit our center. And we can definitely take some time and go over these programs with you. Or if you have any questions on anything that was discussed, again, feel free to give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Lupe. And then if I could just introduce Donald Perry. Donald Perry is our job development supervisor for the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. Donald, if you're listening, if you could put on camera. We will be, again, responsible through the City of Lomita to make these a host of calls to the businesses to offer our services and to just get the business needs for the City of Lomita businesses.
All right, great. Turning it back over to you, Heidi.
All right, thank you, gentlemen and ladies. As you all can tell, the Workforce Investment Board, as we affectionately call it, the WIB, if you haven't picked up that terminology by now, has a cadre of resources available to you. And so I would just like to encourage Robert or Chris, whomever from the WIB, please let us know the easiest way to get in contact and start the conversation. You guys have so many great resources, and I do have to say that the Chamber has been fortunate enough to benefit from the program that you all work so hard on, and we have been able to bring on board an intern through the Facebook program, which helped with our social media, and we were able to transition that to a salaried employee. So we're very happy and grateful for that. So do take advantage of the resources available, pick up the phone, give them a call. And so we do have your questions in the chat, so keep them coming. I just really wanted to share quickly, I mean, this is all about partnership and how we all work together. So, you know, really for those of, I think a lot of the folks on the call today are Chamber members. So thank you for being here. But for those who aren't, I just wanted to talk briefly about what the Chamber has coming up, but really a lot of people don't know what a Chamber of Commerce does, right? So the Workforce Investment Board, they have their wheelhouse. They help with keeping people employed, supporting our businesses with those job placement opportunities and ongoing business support and services, which is great. City is different from a chamber. So a chamber really is a group of business members, different organizations in our community, and we come together for many reasons. We come together for advocacy, we come together for networking, connection. We're different from a city, although sometimes people get us confused, but we do work in partnership with the city because, as you can tell, the City of Lomita also has a number of great resources and plans available for our businesses to thrive and succeed. So we are here as a chamber to advocate on our small businesses. So the door is always open. It's important for our businesses to get involved as much as they can, but if not, just know that we are here. We have your back. So when we see legislation and challenges and legal issues or other things coming down the pipeline that maybe you need to be aware of, or we need to take a position to support or not support if it affects our business community, we do that behind the scenes, whether that's letter writing, participating with all the other South Bay chambers every month to talk about those challenges and to help guide our businesses through some of those issues that do come up. So we are an advocate for small businesses. We are a nonprofit. I will say that what a chamber is not, we are not a charitable organization. We're not part of the city. We're not publicly appointed. We have a board of directors. We're not the Better Business Bureau, but it is our function to make sure that we provide opportunities for our businesses to stay strong, agile, stay updated with the latest changes, providing educational opportunities, and as well as networking, communication, and promoting your business to the community through the chamber tools that we have available. So we're here to connect you. I was happy to say just yesterday, one of our prominent healthcare providers here in the South Bay was looking for a small business in the community because they want to support local businesses, and they needed a business that would actually help them with something very important, picking up laundry for their scrubs at the local hospital. So the chamber knew a contact because we have a Lomita-based business who does exactly that. So it's connection, it's providing referrals, doing business with a member, building camaraderie, and of course we have a number of different events and programs that are coming up throughout the rest of the year. So I do hope that if you're not a chamber member, please consider it. If you are, thank you, and if there's anything we can do to help you get more involved or engaged or can help your business, please reach out. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is We have, if you're going to be hiring people through the WIB, as an employer, you need to know a lot of the changes in legislation and regulations that have come up for 2022. There's been a lot of adjustments, and it doesn't just affect big employers with 50 plus employees. Actually, it affects employers with only 5 employees. Some of these laws that have come down in terms of offering retirement savings, which helps keep you competitive too when you're hiring, right? So retirement savings programs, who's an independent contractor, who is not, a number of different laws that are coming down the line, as well as paid COVID sick leave. Now, COVID is going through its own transition right now in terms of what we're required to do, but all of these things are still in play. So the Chamber is offering on March 29th at noon, a webinar with a small business law firm. They specialize in small businesses and they specialize in employment law. So this is a chance for our Chamber members to get their questions answered from the legal experts. It's free to Chamber members. It's $10 for those who are not. So that is available at our website, lomitachamber.org. And of course, we will have another networking opportunity. It's so important for all of us. I know we're busy, we wear many hats, but it's important for us to get our name out there and to make the time to connect with our other business owners so we can help uplift each other and support each other. So with that, that's my quick little thing of what the Chamber has coming up. You can see all of this coming up for a very full calendar year at lomitachamber.org. But now it's all about you. So I'm going to go to some of our questions. If I can have our panelists come back on the line. I know that one of the first questions that we had was from Mr. Jim Leadham. You had mentioned something in here about the facade improvement. So let me go back to that for the city here. I think you mentioned something about PCH. Now, is there a different sort of requirement for businesses that are on PCH with regards to the facade improvements?
So what I'll tell you this is we've got some design guidelines that we've established in the city. One is in our downtown area. There's another one that's along PCH. And we were just utilizing those design guidelines to show our business community what kind of improvements we're looking for, kind of what the threshold is, what the expectations are, kind of a thing. And Laura responded to Jim's question with a link providing access to both of those documents, both of those design guidelines. They're actually on the same website that the facade improvement program is on. So if you just click the link that takes you to the facade improvement program, the design guidelines will be there as well.
Okay, thank you for that. We did have a question from Will about independent contractors. So do any of the job creation programs apply to independent contractors? So
the job creation one is really meant to be the most expansive of the two. There's more businesses that qualify for the job creation incentive. In this case, the only exception is you've got to have a brick and mortar commercial site that you utilize with your commercial business. So if he's a contractor that's got a yard or an office somewhere in a commercial zone, absolutely he would be able to qualify and submit an application for this.
Okay. So Bob over there at Burn and Daylight. Hi, Bob. So for the facade improvement, can it be applied to the front or the back of the building? And he has a specific question regarding municipal codes and the parking requirements to put out the permanent outdoor seating. So all those are kind of tied together with what maybe can be utilized under the facade improvement program. Sure.
I mean, to be honest with you, you could use the facade program money for anything on the outside of your building, whichever way it's facing. If you want to use an alleyway to do a mural, if you want to do the back of house because you have future expansion efforts with outdoor dining, absolutely go ahead and use this money for that. To get to his second part of the question, which probably paves the way for him to be able to do some improvements in the back, is the idea of some adjustments to our muni code with parking. And we haven't adopted anything yet. We do have something in the works. We have a draft ordinance that's being prepared. And Bob and I can speak to that offline if need be. But to answer his question, yes, you can apply these funds for any portion of your building.
Another question about the job creation program. Can it be used to replace an employee? So for example, if they had to terminate somebody, can the job creation program be used when hiring a new person, or does it need to be a net increase in employees?
It does need to be a net increase. What we're trying to do is one, get get existing companies that have experienced a reduction in workforce back to solvent. So really, we're not looking to keep it even. We want to get these people back to work. So it's going to be a net increase.
Yeah, I see that Laura did specify that it requires a new net full-time employee position. Okay, nonprofits, are nonprofits eligible?
Yes.
For services, and for the forgivable loan. So that's a twofer, right? So
right, for the forgivable loans for the cities, they are allowed. Obviously, it depends on the use of the nonprofit, but yes.
And nonprofits are also allowed with the workforce board services as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, am I able to create a new sole proprietorship and create a new full-time position for myself or for another who's in a similar position having lost work as a result of COVID?
So again, this is really meant to be a net new on the existing businesses. So kind of getting around it by creating a new business and then calling yourself the employee. That's not really the spirit of what we're trying to do.
Okay, Jim Leanham, I will repost the link for the guidelines on ACH. I do want to ask a question of the WIB. What kind of insurance does a business need in order to participate in the program? And then do you have to have a physical business location in order to be eligible to participate with the workforce support?
I'll jump in on the insurance requirements. We do need the employer to have liability insurance. Usually it's $2 million aggregate. And there is a case-by-case basis. We do require workers' comp, but if it's a micro business, we could definitely look at that and do have a waiver if they're eligible. So we can look at that. And then with regards to having a brick and mortar type office, we would prefer, but again, it's a case-by-case basis, and we do virtual assignments. So we can look at that, and it would be a case-by-case basis as we move forward.
And then, Robert, let me know if this is still the case, but does it have to be, it can no longer be a home business, right? Or it can't be a home business? Yeah.
It can be a home business, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Interesting. I didn't even know that. I learned something new too. Okay, we have another question. Does the employer have to make sure that for the job creation program that they're from a low income household to qualify? Is that correct, Greg?
That is correct. We'll need some paperwork in your application to kind of justify it. But ultimately that's correct. Once you show that you've got a low income person on your workforce, then we would release the $10,000 forgivable loan, and we would check in with you periodically to make sure that that person was still in your employment. And after 1 year, if you fulfill that obligation of 1 year, then you get to keep the $10,000, and we would not ask for you to repay.
Okay, that was my question, was how long does the employee need to be retained? So so I guess under that circumstance, we've talked about a lot of things with regards to workforce and employers. So if for whatever reason that particular employee needed to be let go, however, you did replace that employee that qualified, is there anything different that I would have to do then if I'm kind of looking at that net new position?
I think communication is just key, keeping city staff aware of what's going on with that specific employee. Obviously, if you had to let them go or if they quit, we would essentially stop that shot clock, if you will, and allow you to reinvest and hire a new person that is also low income that qualifies. And once they established employment, we'd restart that clock and combine both employees' time together to get to that 1 year mark.
Okay. And Chris, is that something that you could help the employers with in terms of, this particular candidate could qualify for that program based on knowing how the city is offering this forgivable loan on the low income side of things?
Right. We can partner with the city on all of this hiring that may be done and see if those participants can enroll into any of our programs too.
And what is currently considered low income for purposes of this program?
I don't have that information off the top of my head. Laura, do you by any chance know? It's a percentage of the LA County median income.
It's listed in, well, the site is listed in the application, and we can post that information on our website. We could add that document. So people who are applying can have some parameters.
Okay. And then I did put the link, I just want to confirm, because I wasn't able to see it from the homepage, but lomitacity.com, there's a page called Job Creation and Facade Improvement Programs, and that's where all of this information is listed. Is that correct? Okay, so that link is in the chat, everyone. So make sure that you grab that link there. Another one for the WIB, how long does it typically take, say, for the WIB or the One Stop to find a match for an employer? Now, I know that's maybe putting you on the spot a little bit, but on average, because we want people to know when to start the ball rolling, right? So it starts with a phone call, but what is typically the time span?
It depends on the position, but at the same time, I've seen turnaround depending on if we have individuals on roster very quickly. It could take usually a quick turnaround would be about 2 weeks with regards to getting a contract done and getting an appropriate candidate. And then depending on the details and specifications of the position, it's on average, I would say probably 30 days. Again, though, things can be, I've seen our staff has been outstanding, and sometimes we get people just with a background check and a reference check pretty quickly to employers rather over a weekend. But majority of the times, I would say on average, usually three weeks is probably right in the middle ground.
And if that particular candidate, once you, do you have to hire them once you get it through the WIB? I mean, if it's not a good fit, then what can I do as an employer if we're working with you?
Everything is based on the employer and the employer's needs. We follow, again, with the reimbursement programs, they are your employee, the employer's employee, but again, it's based on the needs of the employer. We can't tell the employer they have to keep them. No, that's not the case. As long as they're open, they communicate, we go through that process. We definitely want them to retain, but it's not a requirement if things are not working out. And we could be helpful in that process through our cold case management system. If they are definitely looking at ways that we can help that employee be a better employee, we could assist with that, with not only soft skill training, but might even look at some specific job skill training if needed.
Okay. We've got a couple more questions because I'm cognizant of time, and I know we started a little bit late for the issues we had at the beginning, but we bounced back, right? So one of the questions that Lewis had here in the Q&A was, could it be a low income relative? So we're going back to the job creation, right? So I'm assuming that question, Lewis, if I'm correct in reading it, is that if you have a relative as an employer that's low income, can they qualify for the job creation program? And I guess if it's a net new employee, then is the answer yes?
Correct. Yeah, that would be a yes.
Okay. And then can you be eligible? We have a question about if you have previously received money through the job creation program back in 2019, can you be eligible for this as well?
Good question, Bob. So we took this program, this forgivable loan program, essentially we took that program that he's referring to and flexed it, manipulated it, and made it work for the American Rescue Plan. Bob's referring to an existing program that we're only eligible to our downtown businesses, and to be honest with a specific few. And it was using some funding from the state. And to answer his question, no, if you've already taken an opportunity using that funding program within the last 2 years, you wouldn't be eligible for this program. If it's been longer than 2 years, then you would.
Okay. All right. Well, because I want to appreciate everybody's time here, I guess we're going to wrap it up. I think we've answered all the cues. We've got a great chat. We answered those questions as well. I do encourage everybody to reach out to the WIB. Can somebody put your contact information, the best way to reach out, or if you just want to say it right now, the easiest way to get your questions answered, both for the city's program and then for the WIB. So Greg, what's the best way to reach out or to stay connected with this particular program?
If you want to give staff a call, we've got a few people on task with this. You can call us at 310-325-7110. Otherwise, use our website, www.lomitacity.com. And you'll see it. There's a web page dedicated to it, but there's like a ribbon at the top that has a kind of a common themes or important themes that circulate, and it's one of those items. So it should be fairly easy to get to.
So we will also make sure, by we meeting the chamber, and I think the WIB and the city will also be doing this as well. So we'll edit our our behind the curtain initial pieces of this recording, but we will put it on the chamber's website, and we'll also put links in on how to contact the WIB and a link to the city's website as well. So we'll have that available to you if you want to come back and reference it. We'll put it up on our website at lomitachamber.org. Anything else from our guests and panelists before we sign off? All right, well, Chris, Robert, the whole WIB team, thank you. Thank you, Greg and Laura, and I know Sherry's somewhere in the background helping us out too. Thank you for your patience. Thank you everybody for participating today. Please reach out to the chamber if we can connect you with any of these resources or visit our website. It's an honor for us to be here, and anything else we can do to support our businesses, please let us know. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, guys.